Hey, this is Tiqqle, and in this video, I'm going through a viewer's build for Enhanced Shaman in Dragonflight. Take a look, see what you think, and let me know if you have a build you want me to rip apart or say what I like or dislike. Come by the stream every day, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll get into it. Thanks, everybody. But, oh yeah, let's go back to Brutality's build here. Brutality, let's go back to your build. I'm gonna rate your build right now. Okay, here we go. As a PvP build, you don't have PvP talent, so all right, fair enough. I'm gonna kind of go backwards. And I think that this is a one way to really look at making builds, especially after you build them. What don't you have? That's where I'm gonna start. What don't you have? You don't have Flurry, which I think you absolutely should have Flurry. You don't have Ice and Fire, which I do think you should get this. I believe fire scaling will impact LE Blast, so I would recommend you take this as well. LE Blast is the biggest component of your damage right now. Okay, so absolutely, you have Earth LE for defensive or Shield for defensive. Sure, I don't know that there's a real great value to double shields right now. Like it's either static shield and Earth shield, and I don't know if it matters. I don't think this stuff's that important for you. Maybe reducing the cooldown on your totems is a bigger deal, but like grounding totem, reducing that cooldown, like is that a big deal? Maybe it might be. Like, does it reduce the cooldown on grounding totem? Like, let's take a little peek. Let's take a little gander. Shan't we? That's not even a word. Okay, so it's 30 seconds, 30-second cooldown on grounding totem, which is our biggest one. We check 26. So maybe this is really worth it. I would argue that it probably would be a really important one to take then, because 4 seconds off grounding totem is pretty huge. Isn't elemental damage ice, fire, nature, etc.? I don't actually know 100% how the scaling works. I know it used to be scaling off of fire, but I don't know anymore. So yeah, I would say this is something you're missing that I think probably gives a lot of value in PvP. I don't think these are necessarily valuable in PvP. We don't know how valuable stone skin is yet. I don't think anyone's really proven that. These ones, fair enough. Having double, like, so there's some use, I think, to like, resets the cooldown of your most recently used totem with a baseline cooldown of shorter than 3 minutes. You can get double grounding. That could be good. You can get double root. Like, these could be good things. And I think you will see people take this when you go against casters. Double grounding is pretty huge. Having a 26-second grounding, also huge. It might not give Enhance an edge in killing something, but in a team defensive, like, it could be kind of really good. It's not just blaster cannon damage, but that's what I would say to you. I would say Cleanse Spirit's only useful when you have a Hex or, a Curse, so that's situational. I don't think Capacitor Totem is necessary, but you do have Root now. So now you can pretty much secure the Cap Totem if they're blind. So you can absolutely do that. It's like there's no chance of missing. So like maybe it is actually kind of good. But otherwise, everything else you have here is good. I'm surprised you're not going for one of these defensive changes. So right here, either having Astral Shift cooldown reduction, or it's in duration increased, or the other one where it reduces damage further. I feel like this is something like, why not reduce the cooldown of your defensive? Your only defensive. I feel like you might need Plains Traveler. Pretty much. I think that's probably much more important than go with the flow, but I'm not 100% sure. The other thing is, I would say that for this, Spirit Walk might be better than, is probably going to be better than Gust of Wind for PvP, I'll be honest with you. Mostly because this is situational though. Breaking roots, removes all movement impairing effects, roots, slows, etc. It makes you a freaking Ghost Wolf freaking F1 racer. So it could be good. I recommend, unfortunately, I think this is going to be kind of better. It's on a little bit longer cooldown though, so I think it'll be situational. You're not taking Hex. Bold move, but I don't blame you. How often is Hex, you're standing in the melee? If you're against melee cleaves, you're not going to take this, I don't think. Too hard to get that off, waste of time. This one, I don't know if it works in PvP, but giving you a good old 8% increased HP pool is something you probably do want. So I think of all the things you have, improving your defensive, totem reduction, flurry, those are the things that I would say that you're kind of missing, and the Ankh HP and caster's totemic recall. The big question I have that I think people are going to start questioning is how important is Lightning Lasso to enhance in PvP, and I don't know the answer. I don't know. I haven't seen any crazy plays or clips about it, but could be good. Probably not. Probably not, though. My other option would be Thundershock, where it would be a knock up instead of a knock away, and that would be potentially an interrupt for a caster. While they're in the air, they can use instants, but while they're in the air, they can't cast. So that's even it's an interrupt, and they can't cast for like a second. So that could be good. I agree with Nature's Swiftness. This is a healing option, so I hear you. So that's how I would review the side of your tree that is a shaman. Let's go to the enhanced side. Again, I'm going to start at what you don't have. You do not have Feral Lunge for mobility. Fair enough. If you're against a Frost Mage, you probably might want to consider this. Instead of what? Ooh, I don't know. Instead of what? Maybe instead of Crash Lightning, to be frank. I'm not 100% sure. But that's something. Ice Strike, fair. Like, and these AoE abilities with Hot Hand, like, okay, I get it. Probably not necessary unless somebody blows our mind with using them. So especially from a rotting AoE perspective, I don't really see these being huge. See them passive, see them small. You don't go these AoE ones in the middle. Expected. You're not going Primordial Wave because you're not a Shadowlands weenie head. Okay, I totally get it. You're not going Stormblast because it doesn't do any damage. It does nothing. It's dumb. This is one of the ones that is one of the most... I was so excited about it, but it actually does no damage. It does 0 damage, so it's not even worth taking at all. So you're not losing anything. You're not going Thorm's Invocation, which I also think is a good thing. I don't think Thorm's Invocation is even good because it makes you cast Lightning Bolts instead of casting LE Blast. Lightning Bolt, 80k damage right now. LE Blast, 250k damage. Like, the damage ratio is ridiculous. It'll probably be tuned. So that's what I think. I think you pretty much have gone the no-brainer spec in terms of a baseline enhanced single target blaster cannon, period. The only difference is I think this might change over time. You might not go LA Spirits, you might not go Witch Doctor's Ancestry here, but you might opt for potentially Primordial Wave to be a Shadowlands Weenie Hut Jr. But that's only if... Dude, this is going to actually do damage. Like, that's the sad reality of Primordial Wave, is that that's actually going to pump, I feel like. But we'll see. I think LA Blast plus Elemental Spirits is the play. It does, it's Blaster Cannon, plain and simple. Otherwise, this is why I think that people, like, we're so excited about about Dragonflight talent trees, but in honesty, there's nothing you wouldn't, like, there's nothing you're missing out on here. So this is the spec for PvP single target DPS. I don't see anything different. Maybe static accumulation, changing this to deeply rooted elements. I mean, honestly, I might do that instead because of how often you're going to be able to control your resets of Stormstrike. But that's what I would say about this build. That's my opinion here. That's my overall opinion. Doomwinds is actually insane right now. They made it very strong, and I'm very happy they did because it was dog poop before. Still don't like the 8 seconds. 8 seconds is like, dude, you could, I don't know. 8 seconds is not, if you think about it, if a GCD is 1.5 seconds, you're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 GCDs off. And guess what? I mean, you're gonna get 1 Storm Strike, 1 Crash Lightning, 1 Sunder. That's it. So that's it. Wind Fury Totem might actually be good now, though. This might actually be very good. 20% chance plus main hand and off 10 procking. So that's what I would say the review of your build. So how do you like them apples? How do you like that? That's what I would say. I mean, otherwise, oh, and what PvP talents would you go? I would say, to be honest, dude, Thunder Charge is so weird, dude. It's so weird. I would say I haven't tested the damage on Ride the Lightning, but you got to remember, you're taking things like this, and, well, I guess increases the damage of Lightning Bolt. This is not Lightning Bolt, right? This is cast Chain Lightning. So I don't know. I'd have to see how much damage this is doing. This is usually the default. Grounding Totem is default. Swelling Waves, I think, would be pretty good. Static field possible. Shamanism might be worth it. We might not be spending a ton of healing, right? Because if you look at it in the game, how much mana is LA Blast? It's 1.3k, which is, holy shit, it's nothing. So your spenders are not going to cost much mana at all. So if you're not healing, depending on how like healing oriented Enhance is going to be, I hope it's not going to be healing oriented. I think we might be able to go Shamanism for more haste. But to be honest with you, you're going to be pressing so many buttons anyway, that might be too much. It might be too much. And by the way, we didn't talk about it, but Swirling Currents is going to make the heals of Enhance insane. They're already super insane anyway. I just did that. What is it called? I totally forget what it's called. Healing done. Let's see here. dude, the healing that I was chunking out there, dude, I was healing for 100k heal without a crit and without swelling currents. So we'll see how important it will be to have this when the game is fully tuned, etc. But that's what I would say about your build, and that's what I think about your personality. So that's the deal. I hope that was a good review. I kind of went all out on that one, but yeah, let me know what you think.